Hi everyone and welcome to this next video. Sport is good. That's the hypothesis that I want to weave through this entire series of videos. But I wonder if you think about that statement, do you agree with it? In the last couple of videos, we've spent a little bit of time looking at how when we observe high performance sport, we don't necessarily see that. But I want to contrast that with the experience of our 8-year-old daughter who's just started swimming club. And I picked her up last week and I said, "How was the lesson? How was the session? Was it good?" And she went, "Daddy, it's always good." And I thought, wow, so unaffected by performance and so many of the narratives that for us who've worked in or competed in elite sport, so many of the narratives that, around failure and winning and performance being the things that matter. Not for her. Just doing it was enough. Sport is good. Yes, daddy. It's always good. And I love that to be the case for us as adults, for anyone who's doing sport, particularly for those within the high performance setup, because I truly believe that that attitude towards sport doesn't just increase our joy and appreciation and love for it and for doing it, but it also does allow us to perform better. And that's the ironic thing, is that the go-to cultural norms of our time, I think, inhibit performance. And I'm conscious of that again today when I switch on my BBC Sport news feed here in the UK and I see stories of systemic abuse and safeguarding issues within many sports that have negatively affected the culture and the well-being and the mental health and the performance of the athletes that those cultures and those coaches were supposed to serve. So, where does it come from? How do we move from this love and joy for sport, daddy, it's always good, to broken athletes, poor coaching practice? Where does that come from? If sport is broken, why and where does that happen? Well, let me propose this. If the purpose of sport becomes winning, then the value that we place within sport is entirely on our performance. So we end up emphasizing this physical domain more than anything else, not the head, not the heart. And they're the three dimensions that we talk about in the title of this video. We obsess about the physical performance. That's all that matters when you move into these high performance environments. But what does that do? Well, it means the motivation is not joy and love, daddy, it's always good. It means the motivation is fear. And that plays out in stress and insecurity. Fear, short term, might improve performance, but long term has a negative impact on performance. And so, as we think about these videos, what we want to get to is this idea for you as a coach, or you as an athlete, or you as someone who sets up these sports organizations, whether they're clubs or performance pathways. We want to get back to this idea of this 3D framework where we're trying to actively coach or, as an athlete, train not just our body, but also our heart. So, identity, purpose, values, and our mindset, goal setting, motivation. We have strategies for those things as well, so that we manage ourselves within that environment. And so, this framework is simply an idea, a language, if you like, for how the things that we need to pay attention to that can help to return us to something which doesn't just intellectually mean that we know that sport is good, but return us to a place where sport actually is good. And that's where we want to get to. So that's what these videos are about. Sport is good, and the 3D framework that reminds us how we can get to that understanding, not just known, but also felt. So continue to check back in on these videos. I am very well aware that in the first video I said they would all be 2 minutes, and this one is currently 4.5 minutes long. So I will maybe check myself and say we'll keep them all under 5 minutes. But short videos that are trying to be impactful and that are going to walk you through the things that we need to pay attention to so that we can flourish and thrive in sport. Daddy, it's always good. That is what we want to maintain. I'll see you next time.